Hello and welcome back to Industry Disruptors. This is our final episode for season 1. So I will begin by saying thank you so much for everyone who have liked, commented, given us wonderful feedback, really positive. It's been amazing and we've had so much fun doing this, and we will be bringing the season 2 and it will be bigger, it will be better, there will be loads of guests. It will be a lot of fun as well. So for the final episode, we're going to talk about something that is very Marmite amongst investors, and that is bridging, which I absolutely love, by the way. I think bridging is amazing because of the things that you can do with it. But yeah, let's talk about bridging. Jordan.
I didn't even get an introduction on the final episode. That's how far we've come.
Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. This is Jordan Wiley, MBE, who has joined us once again for season 1, episode 10. And you should know who I am by now, so I won't introduce myself. Happy now?
Yep, thank you. We can continue now.
Fuck's sake. Continue. Bridging, right. Talk to me about bridging, Jordan.
Love bridging. I remember when I first started.
I was going to start with exactly that.
I had no idea that it existed. I didn't know what it was. And I remember the first time you ever tried to explain it and show me terms. And I was literally like, what the actual fuck is this? I was like...
your face was absolutely priceless.
I was like deer in the headlights, like... What on earth are these numbers in front of me? Like, I don't know what's going on. Nothing made sense. So I could imagine what a client must feel like as a new investor or an investor who hasn't used bridging before. Like, it does look really scary. It's not, but it does look really overwhelming at the beginning.
That's like, remember when you mentioned about that estate agent who said,
yeah,
send me the terms.
I was like, you're not going to understand it, right?
And he said...
just send it over. I don't understand that.
When I send out terms, I always say to the client, if there's anything you don't understand, just give me a call. I'd say 60% of them run away because they just don't get it.
Yeah.
20% will probably start the process and then, again, not understand it and then try and do something different. 5% will just outright fraud and go onto a mortgage instead.
Yeah, that was too much interest.
And to be honest, I've got to the point now where I just want to start reporting all these fuckers that commit fraud because I fucking hate it. And then you'll get 15% who crack on. Thank you very much. Let's get on with it.
Yeah, but I find though it's not like a blanket. You know, when the broker sends you an illustration for a mortgage or you get a mortgage offer, it's pretty much a standard template across the board, really. But with bridging, like every terms from different lenders is different, and there's some terms that are way overcomplicated. There's things in there that just don't need to be in there. And then even I'm like, have to figure it out before I send it to the client. I'm like, where is that and where's that? And then like they haven't just put like, here's the interest rate. They've done it so that you have to calculate it.
The interest rate
and I'm like, why can't you just do it for me?
No,
so I get it. It's confusing sometimes.
So for those that don't know what a bridging loan is, there's 2 different types of bridging. One is regulated bridging, one is unregulated bridging. In short, regulated bridging is for a property that you're going to live in. And unregulated bridging is for a property that you're investing in and going to rent out perhaps, or you're going to sell at a profit, flip. That's basically what bridging is. It's short-term finance on a property. So if you're only needing those funds for a short period of time, usually up to about 12 months, sometimes a little bit longer if you're doing a development, it's specifically for short-term finance. So for your residential property, it might be that you found a house that you want to buy, but you haven't been able to sell your house yet. So what you do is you go on a bridge loan on the new property until you sell that property. And then once you've sold that property, you pay back that bridge loan and then your new mortgage on the new house, etc. Unregulated, which is the fun stuff.
Yeah, it's sexy.
So many different types and strategies, etc., of how to do it. So it could be for a property that you purchase that's a piece of crap, basically. It's, there's no carpets, there's no kitchen, there's no bathroom or whatever, and you need to refurbish that property in order to restore it to its former glory, so to speak. A property that needs minor works, maybe £10,000-15,000 just to spruce it up and make it look better, you would use bridging in that kind of instance. And the reason you would use it is to add value to that property. So when you're doing the refurbishment, you're adding value to that property. So you're using a bridge loan in the first instance, and then you would refinance onto a mortgage once you've refurbished that property. That property is probably going to be worth more than what it is at the time of purchase, more than what it was at the time of purchase. And then you would refinance out onto a mortgage at the higher value, paying off your bridge loan and perhaps pulling out a little bit of money or leaving less money in the deal than you would have done if you bought a property at 25% deposit. Make sense? Probably not.
To me it does.
Well, yeah, to you it does, for fuck's sake. But yeah, hopefully that it makes sense to people out there. So purchase, refurbish, refinance is a very, very common strategy with property investors when they're using bridging. There are many, many different lenders.
It's like 300 or something, right?
No. Bridging, there's probably about 100.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Oh, there's more than that.
I think including mortgage lenders is about 300.
Oh, that's where I got that number from.
Yeah. Probably about 100-ish. Some of them you never heard of.
Some of them you don't want to hear of.
Some of them you don't want to hear of. Some of them that charge 2% a month for some bizarre fucking reason.
How do they even get business?
Well, they do, because there are idiots out there who...
They go direct and then they think that's really good.
Bridging. I love it.
Yeah.
Because of what you can do with bridging, you can't do with mortgages.
No.
In essence. So if
it's almost like the possibilities are endless with bridging.
Yeah. If the property's in disrepair, you can't get a mortgage because it's unmortgageable.
Well, do you remember that one the other week when I showed you the pictures and my client was like, oh, I've just got this really great property. I need a bridge on it. And it was literally four broken down walls and no roof. Do you remember I showed you the pictures in the office? I was like, where's the roof? I was like, that's just sky.
It's literally a shell.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't get a mortgage on that, so you need to get a bridge on that. Development finance kind of comes into that. Auction finance. Mm-hmm. So that's essentially what bridging is and when you'd use it. Of course, if you have any questions, just put them in the comments or feel free to get in touch with us. But ultimately, that's probably where we are. And types of lending.
Yeah, well, the thing, that's the one thing I get asked by clients all the time is, what loan to value can I get? I want to do my 25% deposit. And I'm like, it doesn't quite work like that with bridging, because there is no set loan to value, because it literally depends on the deal itself.
Yeah, there's only a gross loan to value. So there's a difference between the gross loan to value and the net loan to value.
But even that fluctuates.
Yeah, absolutely. But ultimately, the gross is always going to be different to the net. Therefore, what you're putting into a property is going to be different than what you're putting into the deal. The most bizarre questions I get is, yeah, but I only want to put 25% down. So what
great.
do I do? Okay, wonderful. But you're getting a bridge and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So I always say very, very clearly, if you're getting a bridge, don't ask what the fucking loan to value is, because we won't know until we see what the deal is. We send the deal to the lender. The lender then gives us the terms, and then you'll figure out how much money you're going to put into it. Don't ever think of loan to value when it comes to bridging. Just think of the deal as a whole. How much money are you going to be putting into that deal as a whole? Because some lenders will give you the money for the refurb as well. So you won't just have purchase monies, you'll have money for that refurbishment as well. That's where bridging gets very, very exciting. Because to put it into perspective, the terms I received just today for a client, the property purchase price was £85,000. The refurb was £30,000. The GDV on the property was £160,000. For those of you that don't know what GDV is, it was the value of the property once the property's been done up. The GDV of that property is £160,000, and in total, the client only had to put £31,000 into the whole deal.
But I remember you had a client, and he bought a portfolio, I think it was last year, and it was a really sexy deal, and you got him terms, and he was buying like 7 properties or 9 properties, and he only had to put in like 40 grand.
£40,000.
Yeah.
So obviously, because some properties are purchased below market value, so if the property is worth £100,000, because he was buying so many at once, and he was buying them from the same landlord, that landlord was basically, he didn't want to be a landlord anymore. He wanted to get rid of all of his properties, and he met my client. They had a conversation, and my client said, look, I'll take them all off your hands for this amount of money. Not saying each property was worth this much, this much, this much. He was like, this is how much money I've got, I'll take them all off your hands. And it turned out that based on what he was actually paying for the properties was so low in comparison to what the properties were actually worth.
Because the landlord didn't even know what they were worth.
No, he did. The landlord did.
Oh, he did?
He just didn't care. He just wanted rid. He was like, I don't care. He goes, you're like, he'd received a higher offer. He'd received a higher offer from someone else, but he didn't know that person. And he didn't know whether that person could get it done. And he didn't know that track record of that person. But because he knew my client and knew my client had done so many deals in the past, he trusted my client more. And so I think it was like £60,000 less that he took from my client because he knew my client's reputation. So we did the deal, and ended up he needed to put £40,000 down, because obviously we were getting lending on the actual value of the property, not the purchase price. So that's also a possibility. Some lenders won't do it because they don't like it. Some lenders will do it because they know it makes sense. So he put £40,000 into that deal. And then when we refinanced all those properties, he got that £40,000 back anyway.
Yeah, of course.
So, a brilliant, brilliant deal. Very, very good client. Love him to bits. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, there's
But then there's lending off GDV.
Lending off GDV, yeah. So if the property's going to be worth 100, like in that instance, if the property's worth £160,000 at the end of it, the bridging lender is going to give you 65% of GDV.
Sometimes 70.
Sometimes 70.
Rarely,
yes.
but it happens.
Yeah, so you'll get 70% of GDV. So to make numbers easier, if the GDV is £200,000, so you've got £200,000 on your GDV. And let's go with 70. So 70% loan to value, 70% loan to GDV. You're looking at £140,000 as a loan amount. Now you might be buying that property for £120,000, and you've got to spend, I don't know, £25,000-30,000. But if you're buying it for 110, let's say, your loan amount, your gross loan amount is going to be £140,000, including your refurbishment funds. So your 30,000 will go towards a refurbishment. So you've got 110 left over, and then all the interest and fees will be deducted from that 110. Let's just call it £10,000-15,000. So basically you're putting £10,000-15,000 into that whole deal, which is why I absolutely love bridging. And people say, oh, it's expensive, and oh, they're just stealing from you and they're crooks. Anyone that says that, I'm sorry to say, you just don't understand property, or 2, you just haven't got a clue, plain and simple. 3, you've listened to an idiot who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's worth it. And finally, what I would say is, very, very clearly on that, if the deal does not work with a bridging loan, it is not a deal. Get rid of that deal and find a better deal. It's as simple as that.
But also, unless you've got shitloads of cash, that's the only way you can do those types of deals.
Absolutely.
So you need to get on board with bridging because you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know any savvy investor with large portfolios or, tens and tens or hundreds of properties that doesn't use bridging. I don't. The only ones that I know that don't use bridging have probably got like 3 or 4 properties. And if you want 3 or 4 properties and you're fine with that, crack on. Not a problem at all.
It's really hard to grow when you're leaving all funds
if you're looking
aside.
to grow, then you need to use bridging.
But it also doesn't have to be complicated. Like bridging can be used just to literally do a title split.
Yeah.
Or it can be used to increase the lease.
Yeah.
So if
lease
you've got
extensions on flats.
because
on
they will
leasehold
give you the
properties.
money for the lease extension.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they will lend based on what the value of the property is with the lease in place at 999 years or whatever. So it could be as simple as that. And then you can just refinance out.
Absolutely, yeah. So bridging can be used for so many different reasons. And I think the stigma, I mean, my parents used the bridge, I want to say 2002, maybe it was.
Was it expensive back then?
I think it was like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3%, something like that.
Okay, so not too...
No, it's about what it is now. But they took out a bridge. I think it was a £55,000 bridge. But they took it out as a second charge on their residential to buy a buy-to-let. So that's another way you can do it. I remember so clearly sitting in my parents' living room when the mortgage advisor came in, and basically I feel like he only ever came round to my parents' house to have a drink with my dad. I think that was his favourite thing of the week, to be honest. And they would sit there and just get drunk together, and then he'll walk out. Okay, yeah, so I'll do that deal for you tomorrow, and it was brilliant. Like, it was like, I loved that kind of experience, watching that experience. But yeah, so you can take out a bridge as a second charge on your own home to buy a buy-to-let. You can use other properties that are unencumbered, or where there's enough room to put a second charge as collateral to get 100% lending on a new deal that you're doing. There's so many options with bridging.
Because some people use it as a strategy, like myself included. They will buy an unencumbered property and keep it as an unencumbered property in their portfolio just so that they can use it as collateral.
Absolutely.
Oh, hello. Sorry, just so they can use it as collateral.
Yeah, because you're going to be getting rent on that property.
Yeah.
So if you're getting rent on that property, yes, it's unencumbered, there's no mortgage payments. By getting that rent, at least your money is doing something for you in that property. But then at the same time, you use it as collateral, like obviously you've got yours, where you use it you can use it as collateral to buy a property for 100% lending, basically.
Yeah.
And flip it.
Yeah.
And so you know, if you know what you're doing, like obviously you know what you're doing, you're not going to make a loss. And if you do make a loss, it's never going to be that large to screw you over. Yeah. Because obviously we generally invest in properties in the 200,000 mark.
Yeah.
So,
but I think when it comes to bridging, I know we've spoke about this in earlier in the season many times about, you know, how to choose your broker and you know, all of that. When it comes to bridging, I feel like that is the most important time, because there will be advisors who either just specialize in bridging or, like us, do everything but love bridging and know everything about bridging. And then there'll be advisors that have never even touched it.
Yeah, and they'll try and do it.
And they try and do it, but it doesn't work out. And if you don't structure it right, you don't go to the right lender, you don't know what you're doing, it is going to be a shit show. Yeah,
absolutely. Because the other thing is where clients will use angel funds as deposits.
Yeah.
Some lenders don't like it. Some lenders will say, you need 10%
vendor
yourself.
Finance, anything like that.
Vendor finance. Some lenders will say, no, absolutely, the entire deposit needs to be your money.
Credit cards. I have done one where he's bought it on an Amex.
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but I think, again, that whole stigma of, oh my God, bridging, you know, it's a rip-off, it's a farce, it's someone said it was illegal. I was just like, you're just a dumb fuck. Like, you just the dumbest fuck I've ever come across in my life.
But also
bridging is illegal.
It comes down to, as well as brokers, solicitors.
Yeah, but the solicitors are really important, because obviously bridging lenders require 3 SRA managers.
Yeah.
And some will do dual rep, some will not do dual rep, there's way too many factors that come into it. You need to get every element of that deal correct.
But if that solicitor hasn't dealt with bridging cases before,
it's never going to complete.
They're always going to say that, yeah, we can do it. But actually, it comes down to it, and they've got angel funds, the deposits coming from angel funds, and maybe they're putting the refurb on a credit card, and it goes like AML, like, woo, and they're like, well, I'm going to have to tell the lender. I was like, that's great, but they already know, and they don't give a shit.
Well, didn't you just have one recently where then they increased their fees by £1,000
because it was bridging? Because it was bridging.
Yeah, which is stupid, because it's usually about £250-300 extra. For bridging, and then they didn't reply for like a month.
A whole month.
Yeah.
They had the case, and it was auction, and
they didn't do anything.
They didn't even raise inquiries.
Yeah. Reply to inquiries.
Reply to inquiries. Sorry.
Stupidity, incompetence, thinking you know what you're doing, arrogance.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's arrogance, because they're like, well, I'm a conveyancer, I know what I'm doing. Okay, bitch, show me how you're doing it. What are you doing? You haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
I had one recently, which we have just completed. Have we just completed that one? Yes, we've just completed it, like 2 days ago. And the first 2 months, the solicitor did nothing. The client solicitor did nothing.
That's good.
And they then had the nerve to tell the client, oh yeah, we should be completed in a few days. And I was like, this bitch hasn't even asked for undertaking, right? She's not asked the client for undertaking. Undertaking was requested 2 months prior. 2 months. And she's not asked the client for it. She's not replied to a single inquiry. And then she's like, well, I didn't get that email. I was like, that email is in the chain, right? The ones that you've replied to, the entire email chain is there. If you look at the very first email, that's the email that you supposedly didn't get, that you've replied to. Like, don't chat shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that ended up taking 3 months. So to put it into perspective, a bridge from application to completion shouldn't really take more than about 6 weeks. There are a lot of circumstances where it'll take a lot longer. A lot of the time it's either down to the lender being absolute bollocks or the solicitors being absolute bollocks. Any other reasons why it would take that long? Oh,
the vendor.
Title issues, vendor, yeah. Vendor solicitor, we talked about this before.
So, no, because that really winds me up, because I've got a client who is just brilliant, gets all of his shit to me. We're using JMW, which are great solicitors. Everything's above board, everything's done. And then the vendor, I mean, what he's buying is a piece of shit. It's literally like fire damage, title issues, like you name it, there's all this shit is wrong. Yeah. And the vendor's like, what I need to complete. I'm like, that's great, mate, but you're trying to sell me
a piece of shit
that has like no like title guarantees. Fucking got like half a roof. There's pigeons living in there. The title, like everything's fucked. Like, and you're like, yeah, we need to complete. And I'm like, yeah, but your solicitors haven't done this, and also there's issues. And I said, if you just rectify the title issue, which you can do, no, I'm not doing that. I just want to get rid of the property, mate. You're not going to sell the property to any fucker if you don't do what you need to do.
Yeah.
If you do that, I can buy the property from you and you'll be rid of it for life. But do you want to be stuck with this for like 5 more years or whatever? Because I can't get lending on the title as it is. So either fix the title or stay with the property for life. I was fuming. It's still ongoing. But I'm getting somewhere.
I'm going to get it done.
I'm going to get it done.
Whatever happens, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't really understand what it is to sell a property or buy a property when it comes to situations like that.
Yeah.
Because of that lack of knowledge. And this is where I think a solicitor should come in and explain, where a vendor's trying to get rid of a property, but they don't have the understanding of the problems that surround that property. Their own solicitor should come in and say, by the way, this is a very difficult property to sell. There's like, do you know what I mean? And yes, they could say, well, I want someone who's going to pay cash for it. Okay, great. We'll pay cash for it. But they're still going to probably do a survey on it.
Yeah.
And there's still going to be issues that arise. And if there's a title issue, you don't want to buy a property that could potentially be lost because of there being a title issue. And it might be in cash or with a bridge.
It might be an insurance issue as well. Like if the property's not insurable for a number of reasons, I don't know, recent subsidence or it's on a bloody flood or coal mine or something. I've had a coal mine.
Do you know what? These coal mine properties are hilarious because I got one where it was literally built on a coal mine shaft.
Yeah.
Literally on the shaft of the coal mine, they built a property on top of it. I was like, which fucking clever dickhead built a property above a coal mine shaft?
Del Boy.
It's a Del Boy investor. Thought he was a gangster developer.
Back in the day.
Mate, I think half of them today are just bizarre as well. A lot of them. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, other types of bridging.
And on that note,
go on.
Slight note.
Go on.
If you're going to bring us a property and it's going to be a bridge, a mortgage, whatever, do tell us if there's a fucking pylon in the garden or if it's next to a takeout or it's on a railway. You know, it's really, really important because didn't you just I know we've both had this a 1,000 times.
I had one on a railway. I had one with a commercial next door.
I've had the pylon, right?
I had a petrol station next door.
Because it affects lending. It doesn't mean that we can't get lending, but it affects it. So if you tell us when we've got the terms or when we've submitted the app, and then you're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a pylon in the garden, I've got to start again.
Yeah.
Like, it's really important.
This goes back to what I said, I want to say episode 2, where I said, don't fucking lie. Don't.
But it's not even about...
No. It's along with don't fucking lie. Don't leave anything out. Whether you think it's important or not, I don't give a fuck. Give 100% of the information.
Yeah, but 99% of the time it's because I didn't think it was important.
Everything's important.
Didn't you have one this week where you were doing a mortgage, you thought it was just a normal buy-to-let, and it turns out like the property's fucked?
Do you know, let me tell you the worst part of this whole story. So the property is being purchased. We're putting it on a mortgage. All's going through fine. Valuer comes back and says, yeah, this property is unmortgageable. The roof's fucked. There's damp.
That was his exact wording, by the way.
There's tiles missing. There's tiles slipped on the roof. You've got no door handles on the doors. You've got no locks. He was basically fucked. We're not going to mortgage it. So I said to the client, I was like, why have you told me to put this on a mortgage when it's certainly obvious that it needs to be on a bridge? And he goes, mate, I haven't even been there. The agent told me it was fine. The agent told me it was fine. There's not a problem with it. Just need a tiny little bit of decorating on the inside.
Yeah, but then this goes back to the episode that we did about power team. It's having people in your power team that you actually trust and are competent.
Honestly, and he was just like, yeah, so what I've done is I've gone back to them and I've told them they're a dickhead for lying to me. And they're like, no, it only needs a little bit. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of damp because there's no ventilation. Bitch, there's still damp
because there's no roof, mate.
The roof is fucked as well. So he's gone back to say, right, however much it's going to cost me to sort all that shit out, I'm renegotiating the price down.
100%.
And we're going to try and get that all done before completion so that we can get a mortgage. So I'm waiting for that lender now to come back to me to tell me whether they'll wait for that, delayed completion, get to offer, and between offer and completion, he'll sort out all that work out and then do it. I have a feeling the lender's going to say no, but I don't know, we'll find out. The worst part is the fucking property's next to a bloody petrol station.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah. He told me that straight away. That's the first thing he led with, which is good. He's a good client. Like, I do a lot of deals
I know.
with him.
He's a good egg.
Yeah, he is. Because it's next to a petrol station, there are very, very few lenders that would do it.
But that's like the deal that I'm doing for one of my clients at the moment. And do you remember he messaged me and he was like, I'm buying this property. I went to see it today. And I was walking around and there was a squatter just chilling out. He's just chilling in the corridor.
No, but did you say there were like needles on the floor?
There was needles on the floor. I was walking around in my flip-flops and I was just like literally dying.
I think the best part is when he sent you the picture of
sent me the picture
crawling out.
With his flip-flops, and oh my God, I was literally dying. He won it at auction.
Did he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing on a bridge on it?
That one will be on a bridge, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See? Bridging.
Need to get rid of the needles and the squatters.
The squatters, geez. Well, no, he'd just get his mates to get him out of there. Very simple.
He said, oh, no worries, I'll get them out.
Send the boys round.
That's on you, mate. I'll get you the bridge.
Send the boys round. But yeah, it's situations like that, or those types of properties where they crop up continuously. People don't look after properties. You see, there are so many empty homes in this country. And do you know what pisses me off the most? Is the fucking empty homes officers.
Yeah.
Fucking twats who refuse to tell you which properties are empty.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's such a housing shortage in the UK. Massive housing shortage, and these dickheads are hiding the empty properties.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if they're empty, bitch, let me try and fucking buy it, sort out that property so someone can actually live there.
Exactly.
The whole
Makes
point
no sense.
is to kill this bullshit fucking housing shortage that we have. But I mean, so frustrating.
Yeah, it's because, especially with the empty homes thing, like you said, absolutely. Like, that's our job as a good investor. That's our job, is to provide safe lovely homes for people to live in. So stop hiding them so that we can actually get them off your hands and sort the housing crisis out.
Yeah, I've got one client came to me, he goes, I've seen this house. He goes, I've spent 2 years trying to get hold of this vendor. Finally got hold of this vendor. The vendor was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to sell it.
So what's he do? Just keeping
and
it?
It's paying double council tax because obviously it's empty because councils are imposing double council tax on empty
of course,
properties owned by landlords. And he was just like, I don't give a shit. I'll just keep paying double council tax. I'm not selling it.
For what purpose?
Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. He goes, please stop contacting me. I don't want to sell this house. It's like, what are you doing with it? The house, there's squatters in there. He goes, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I bet he's got something growing in the roof.
Well, you check out winter
You've got
time.
Business running up there.
Check out winter time.
Yeah, if there's no snow on the top. We know why he's not selling that.
Absolutely. Yeah, maybe it's his growth house. I don't know. But anyway, that's...
And then I guess finally when it comes to bridging is the sort of development ground up kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that can be quite creative as well, especially if you already own the land. We can get the development finance on it, so 100% of the works. And because you already own the land, they give you money back for the purchase. So essentially, you can start really with no funds because it might be that they give you 50, 60, 70 grand up front. You can start the development with that and then just keep recycling that money.
But even the larger developments, like where I had that, we didn't end up doing the deal because he ended up doing it in cash. Because he was that wealthy.
Fair enough.
But it was £19 million to build an abundance of houses. Planning was already in place and he basically wanted to borrow 16 million out of the 19 million. He had 3 million of his own. He wanted to borrow 16 million. And he ended up getting a partner coming in with the rest of that money and they ended up doing it together. But it goes to show people who have this fear of bridging development finance, whatever it is. If the largest developers in the world, or the country, let's talk about this country. If the largest developers in this country are using that type of finance to build the new homes where you see all over the country, new homes going up continuously, if they're using it, why are you not using it? There's nothing scary about it. And anything you don't understand, you talk through with your advisor. Don't run away like a little bitch and get scared. Just fucking talk about it. Discuss the deal, discuss the terms, understand how much you have to put in, how much you don't have to put in. Anything you don't understand, discuss it. And if you discussed it and you've had the advice and you still don't get it, then maybe fucking don't do property. Just fuck it off. Go and work in Tesco or something.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you don't get it when it's been explained like 7, 8, 9 times, you're never going to get it. Fuck it off.
And just a point on what you just said about the development is, because this is a question I get a lot, is about the planning.
Yeah.
Planning needs to be in place
For most lenders.
Yeah, for most lenders. You can, if you're saying buying a piece of land or something without planning, there are ways around it. We can do 50% loan to value on it. You get the planning, then we can get the dev finance. We can do it that way. But if you want it all up front in one go,
you need the planning. Because lenders won't lend unless the planning is in place.
Yeah, because they'll only lend on what is there already.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd throw that in.
Good work.
You know, just to put my 2 pence in.
Is that what you did when you played tennis? Just chuck things in. Bat it away.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
That's all right.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
That's it, right?
In a nutshell, yeah.
Bridging, development.
In a big nutshell.
Obviously, if there are questions, then yeah, please do put them in the comments or just give us a call or send us an email on our website, inquiry form, all the rest of it. But
I think in season 2, when we have guests on and we'll be doing more live cases or past cases, talking to people who have done bridging development, stuff like that, it becomes a little bit more clear and be able to unpick it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Jordan Wiley MBE for joining me in season 1.
I made it all the way through without getting sacked.
See, look, she still hasn't fucking said thank you to me. You did it at the beginning. You haven't done it again now. Where's my thank you?
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me.
It's too late now. Shut up. Thank you, viewers. Thank you very, very much for all the support, all the positivity, all the wonderful comments, and everything that you've done for us. The positivity has been incredible, and the feedback has been wonderful, and we really, really, really appreciate it. The whole point of us being here is to help you and to educate you and give you options and opportunities to potentially achieve what you didn't think could have been possible. And from everything that we talk about, it does come from a very, very genuine place. So thank you. It's been a wonderful season. We will be back in not too distant a future. Please don't forget, subscribe, get notified when that second season hits. Like, comment, go through them again, send us any feedback you want, get in touch with us, ask us any questions you like, and we will be back for season 2. So thank you very, very much for joining us on this epic journey that we have had. I've loved every second of it.
It's been fun.
So yeah, thank you very much.
You're a hoot.
No, thank you. And finally, I'll say thank you to Darren, who's been with us. He's behind the camera, but he's been amazing for us. I couldn't thank him enough. So thank you all, and we'll see you again very, very soon on Industry Disruptors.